So I'm so lucky to be the only girl on the panel with three smart men who are
Okay,
ready to
hello.
talk about boring things like regulation and other important stuff. So my first question is, please introduce yourself and please give us vision. What is your relationship with the law and regulation, so we do understand your connection and your basic skills in this area?
Hey everyone, my name is Mike Bistroff, and I am actually Dasha's business partner. So it's a double honor for me to be here. Yeah, we co-founded the law firm she talked about earlier. So what we do is we provide turnkey legal advice to our clients in crypto space, crypto communities. We advise on like everything from taxes to regulation, which we will be discussing today. And the regulation, we constantly research it, and the regulation worldwide. Well, we will discuss the trends afterwards. So I'm passing the mic to the other speakers.
Hello, greetings and edition everyone. My name is Ken. I'm the CEO and the founder of Blockchain Network Philippines. Of course, I'm from Philippines. So, what I'm here is we are the first custodial company that based in Davao City. We are outsourcing company working with 47 active crypto projects. We have 18 venture capitals, and we provide this kind of unique marketing services. We build community brands. We build community organic growth, organic engagement, and yeah, since 2020 we are the one who talk and speaks about laws in the Philippines. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good night. It's a pleasure to be here. Actually, it's supposed to be my college that come here and speak, but actually he got another meetings. Yeah. I'm Aldi. I'm a head of blockchain solution from WAR. Basically, we are AR and VR company founded in 2009, and we are moving to develop the metaverse early this year. The metaverse would call the Nusa Meta, and yeah, obviously it would uh, close to the Web3 technologies, blockchain and stuff. And actually, we are the new kid on the blocks. um, yeah, so we are very honored and actually surprised that we are invited here and talking about the blockchain regulation. Thank you.
Okay, so it will be an interesting view because we have one lawyer on board, one CEO, and one team who didn't expect to talk about this. So let's see what you think about the laws. So as the first topic we would like to discuss is the positive or negative effect which distributed ledger technology and blockchain technology can bring to the governments and maybe to the whole world on the bigger level.
Well, if we talk about actual implementation, has been discussed like for 100,000 times over the past 10 years, actually. But for the very least, you can keep the medical records, you can keep the land records on blockchain, and you can, since these records they're immutable, you can actually confirm with a there's a level of trust with which you can confirm that a certain piece of land or a certain medical record belongs to a particular person. These cannot be changed or altered, in bad faith by someone hacking the system or trying to alter the system. And I do know for a fact that there are countries who are actually already switching their medical records to blockchain, who are already switching their land registers on blockchain. And I believe, certain other types of movable and immovable property and assets will be transferred to blockchain as well, including possibly cars, because you can just tokenize and, issue those tokens for VIN numbers, you know. So applications, there are lots of applications, but the point of the regulation is this: it should be balanced, because usually the governments, what they do is that they see that there's a crypto business and there's a crypto users, and the government says, hey, I'm the government, I'm setting the rules here. And this shouldn't be the case, because this technology and its application it develops at such a rapid pace that the governments they can't, they just can't catch up. They're unable to, which means that the governments need to take a really balanced approach and consider the position of the crypto community and crypto businesses and make them their priority. For example, I really liked the approach taken by discussed by Sergey from Everscale yesterday. So that they're doing this CBDC solution, right, where the wallets is a non-custodial solution and it's owned and operated by the user exclusively, and the assets on that wallets are they can be touched by anyone except for the user. And this is a great balanced solution because in certain jurisdictions, I won't be naming them, but the CBDCs are simple software solutions with records that can be altered, transactions that can be flagged, just with a push of a button, which creates, which puts the government in a position of full control over the industry and overall transactions. And the regulation should consider all of these, positions, so they should be balanced.
Yeah, for me, when it comes in regulations, my mostly the qualm here is how the government invested when it comes in security. If someone that can, that can be attacked on the said project, who will be the one who who point person or do the balance when it comes. There is an auditing when it comes in codes, but there is no auditing when it comes in project, right? So our government should invest on this kind of technology, or maybe some like a corporation or association that want that to check the said project. What's the goals? What's the proper mission and vision? And if this project are legit or not. So the
Exactly.
government should embrace this kind of technology and this kind of mindset before anyone does. Imagine in the Philippines, there are tons of fraud and scammers that saying that they are the legitimate like this, like that, but the government only says that they only they do the warning things, but they don't take serious action like put in the jail and so on and so forth. They just saying warn this kind of project, but after that, nothing else. So yeah, I believe that that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm talking as Indonesian that live in Indonesia and see a lot of crypto projects and NFTs, right? Actually, as far as I know, Indonesian regulation about the blockchain and Web3 era only regulate the crypto one right now, the cryptocurrency. But to regulate the blockchain as a technology, we're not there yet. As compared to Singapore, they already have a privacy data, guidelines for a blockchain use case. That when people want to use the private data on the permissionless or permissioned blockchain, they have the guidelines. In Indonesia, we still regulate on the cryptocurrency side. Actually, in Indonesia, if we want to talk about how blockchain could leverage the program of the government, there's a program in our government called One Data for All. So imagine when we go to one department to healthcare, and then we go to another institution, we have to bring a lot of document, and each of the institution is different document.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, all right. And then the idea of that program is when we go to some place and they need our document, we just have to provide our ID numbers, and that is blockchain technology is all about. If we use the blockchain for that program, we don't need to reconcile data between the institution. There is one source of truth. So I think the blockchain as a technology in Indonesia, we're still not regulated yet. And then as the time being, we are hoping that the government, as well as the private company and the community, could come together and provide the regulation that could regulate not only the cryptocurrency side, but also the technology and how the data is supposed to be handled. That's all.
Can
Okay,
I add
thank.
something? The, well, the best example currently existing in government application of the technology is Estonian e-government. Actually, that's number one use case who everybody refers to. They have one of the best e-government solutions in the whole world. They have this e-citizenship, etc. Well, uh, when they issued super cheap licenses for crypto businesses, that was their mistake because a ton of scams, went through Estonia. But that's, another case. At the government level, they have the best solution currently available. And they already have this data exchange protocol, which is X-Road. And I think Finland is already connected to them.
Yep.
So they can exchange like data between governments like on a super fast level. Right.
Okay, thank you very much. And following this topic, I would like to talk about more global vision. Because when we talk about governments, and then there will be the next question, how the government's gonna interact and how citizens from different countries will interact with the other countries, for example, when they travel, if the blockchain technology is going to be already implemented. And here, I also want to move straight away to the next topic of global trends of crypto digital asset regulation. And I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Is there any chances that in coming years, the governments will be able to accept some like supranational bodies or authorities or companies who will provide, for example, security solution, who will provide audit, who will look actually on what the particular government do within their country, because that's what Mike was mentioning. Because if in some jurisdictions we know that the government become the administrator of the system, which is not actually even the blockchain. It can be called blockchain, but it's not the blockchain. So what is your vision on this question, considering the current trends?
For me, it's very interesting. As we just changed our new president, which is the Bongbong Marcos, and Marcos right now is so very actively, and promoting and thinking to adopt this kind of technology because this is the future. Whatever happened, this is the future. Of course, it's Internet of Blockchain, and some of our association or some of company already adopt this kind of technology, but they are more on a Web 2, but not on the Web 3 when it comes in privacy and audits. So if our government will audit this kind of project, and someone will audit as well when it comes in blockchain, that's a win-win situation on both sides. So the government should open this so that the people will not scared about this kind of project. The problem is not an education. The problem is all about how the government will open this opportunity to those thousands or millions of users worldwide and remove the fear inside of them. So I believe, that's it.
Okay. So two approaches here, from what I can see. First would be a creation of a supranational agencies such as the World Intellectual Property Organization, something like that. But WIPO built itself. Basically, it was built by governments who already had working laws, and statutes, and who were parties to copyright conventions such as the Berne Convention and other, IP, like international treaties and agreements. But in this particular case, once again, the technology is developing so rapidly, the governments, like, it will take them ages to catch up. Which means at this point, I believe that businesses should, combine their efforts into something like a self-regulating organization. There could be one in every market, like Asia Pacific, the Americas, etc. It could be an organization in a jurisdiction, which is how, for example, personal data processors operate in Switzerland. But I believe that in the end there will be this like blockchain collective. All blockchain projects, like all teams are distributed. Okay, so there could be a super DAO, governing all the decisions relating to project implementation, including, by the way, due diligence of possible scams, etc., etc. Who would blacklist bad faith, people like scammers, right? So I believe that a self-regulating body in this particular industry is the way to go.
Yeah. Apart from that angle, which we could agree on, I mean, there is a technical approach on that I want to share about when different jurisdiction coming together to exchange the data. Um, we'll talk about the challenge of the blockchain nowadays, which one blockchain, maybe the data in one blockchain is silos on that blockchain, and then when we want to exchange to other blockchain, if it's different blockchain, there will be a weak point, which is like bridges. Yeah, so the interoperability would be the main concern for that, I think, because it could help with the scalability. It could help with the different silos of data, so people could exchange, different jurisdiction, different nation could exchange to each other without worrying that the data would be hacked if we use the on-chain exchange, right? So that is my point of view. If we talk about the technical aspect, the on the other side, when we talk about the implementation of blockchain to the citizens, I think we don't need to explain to them, the technicalities, the immutabilities, because for us, the vast majority of the citizens, what really matters is it cheaper, is it safer, or is it easier or faster? So I think on the government side, yes, we need to assess the blockchain, research the blockchain, and implement it. And for the user, we just should introduce to them that there is this new technology that could enable you to safely exchange your data or safely store your data, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you're the owner of that data. You have full control over it.
Exactly. Even the government could not use your data.
So it just provides. You just pay taxes. The
Exact-
government uses it to create such a
Exactly.
service.
Exactly. That's the idea. I think.
Exactly.
But going to the data storage, there always be some areas about sensitive data and the management of the data, and there always should be the balance between ownership around it and authority who would want to manage it somehow. So, what is your vision on this problem?
Yeah. So I think if may I? So I think the balance of that could be if we talk about the network, the balance of that could be the ownership of the network. Maybe the validators of the node will be not only government, but the other jurisdiction or institution or even the community, if it may. So in terms of using the private data or balancing the ownership, that could be the answer. But the mechanism may be more complex than that. But I think that will be the answer as a fundamentals.
Well, in the best case scenario, the user should have full control
Yeah.
of the data and be able to grant a particular set of permissions to use that data. But I do know for a fact that in certain countries, you can't actually access certain government services if you don't like press the I consent to everything button.
Yeah,
That's a life hack
Yeah.
used by the governments all over the
Top
world.
Yeah.
So this is not an example someone should follow actually when developing regulations or providing government services.
And while we have technical guys on this panel, may I ask what is the solution for recovery of the data which might be lost from the blockchain?
for missing data, of course, it depends upon if if the government decide if this will be on the open blockchain for the centralized, or maybe on the private. So it depends upon on the on, of course, on the government. But for me, I'm more on the DAO and community first. So it depends upon if the community will vote yes or no. But yeah,
Yeah, the funny part here is that the governments generally try to build solutions on permission blockchains using SDKs like Hyperledger Fabric. And in case of data loss, it's like their fault. You chose that tool set, to build your solution. But at the same time, if you do manage to build a completely transparent system on a non-permissioned open blockchain, like a blockchain solution like it's supposed to be in theory, right? So if you do that, and from the legal standpoint, there's a good question. If data is lost, okay, if that blockchain is tampered with or hacked, whose fault is this? Yeah, that's the same thing with AI in self-driving cars. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
the question of responsibility. That's a good one, and we lawyers will be working on that for the next decade. I'm sure of that.
All right. For me, maybe I will change the perspective to the user or the citizens. The main, in Indonesia, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times, people afraid to lose their, password to the Web3. That is the because you cannot recover it if it's like a non-custodial one, right? Um, for me, maybe we should look more on the new journey for the citizen to embark on the Web3 era, and also to utilize the blockchain, and that will be relate to if something lost on the client side or on the user side, how could we prevent more? How could we, make that safer for the user's perspective? But in the terms of the data loss, if the government, I agree, it's still a questions, even in maybe in the outside of Indonesia, right? So yeah, it's still unquestionable, unanswered. Sorry.
Yeah, there are lots of questions that we are to solve in the coming years altogether. Okay, let's move to another topic. Was already lots said about about CBDCs, but the question which I want to ask you guys is, how do you think can the adoption of CBDCs on the major economics negatively impact the crypto community and crypto regulation and the whole market?
Well, the answer is pretty easy, actually. Each and every government or government collective, such as the European Union, is trying to push out the crypto with their own CBDC. So the first step in the European Union will be adoption of the markets and crypto assets regulation, the MiCA. It sets absolutely horrendous rules for crypto businesses. There will be no place for garage startups as we know them in that particular industry. But in each case that I am aware of, the government sees crypto as basically a money surrogate, which endangers its own financial system, which is why the governments are trying to push out the crypto with their own CBDCs. But I think the approach that should be applied by the governments worldwide would be to actually adopt crypto as a means of payments, not as a full equivalence of the local currency or CBDC or whatever, but just as a valid means of payment, and not as a money surrogate or something that can be completely banned or prohibited. Because if you ban certain assets from circulation in a certain market, that will definitely negatively impact the market because the users will go dark. That's, I've seen a lot of cases, a lot. So if you completely ban certain assets, for example, such as NFTs, that particular parts of the industry can move to another jurisdiction. They just say, I'm not going to do my business somewhere where it's not wanted. Because there's this example of Thailand, right? They banned four types of digital assets. They banned NFTs. Yeah, they banned exchange issued coins like Binance USD and Binance Coin. They banned fan tokens like influencer tokens, and they banned meme-based tokens because of the hype around Dogecoin and everyone buying it. But right now, they're understanding that game dev companies are actually moving out of Thailand already because game dev, especially blockchain game dev, is very heavily reliant on NFT use currently. So that's the key point that the government should understand. Don't ban it, like adopt it, but provide positive regulation, take a positive approach to regulation. That's it.
Yeah, something which will cover the volatility, because I also believe that CBDCs can live together with other assets, just if there will be like maybe even a regulated system of how to manage the risks and the exchange rate and exact moment on
agree.
everything done.
Yeah.
Okay, we have like about 5 minutes to finish, so please.
Okay, when
us
it
your
comes
vision.
in CBDC, I prefer to pay taxes instead of banning the said crypto projects, right? Because meaning to say, the government is open when it comes on this kind of technology, and instead of banning, why not adopting it and earn from it by using the taxes, right? But the question here, mostly here, I'm from the Philippines. We are still on, it's a corrupt government, So to minimize the risk for this kind of corrupt government, we should follow those third world country, which is in the West. So on that case, we should. The question for the taxes is not why or what kind of technology is this, not because of why or what, it's because of when we will start planning this kind of technology, and where where the tax should spend on, right?
Yeah, it's like make up your mind already.
Yeah. you know
All right. Yeah, from my point of view, is Indonesia actually already planning to launch its own CBDC. Our own central bank will launch and publish our own out their white paper of CBDC in the next December. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I could not talk more about that, but we'll see. I hope that government as well as the private company and community could work together, making a safe and positive regulation.
We all hope for that because we are based in Bali, and my biggest dream as a lawyer
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Bali will become a regulatory sandbox
Yes.
with IP box regime, with a
Exactly.
special taxation, with the incentives for our crypto
Exactly.
startups.
Yeah.
And that will be the great booster for this country. And we all will be happy living in the paradise of Bali and building up
Exactly.
the crypto heaven on the islands of God,
Living the dream. Living the
Yeah.
dream.
Exactly. It's opened up a new channel for government, to have a dynamic and positive revenue.
Yeah. I think positive vibe is very important, and I was very pleased to hear yesterday all the positive changes intended to be adopted in Indonesia in
Yeah.
coming years.
Yeah, except
Finger
for the
crossed.
single government regulated crypto
Correct.
exchange.
Correct.
Okay, I think we are run out of time. So let's finish our panel. I think we're not the last for today.
Thank you
So
for having
thank you
us.
very much. I
Thank you
hope
so much.
someone was
Thank you
listening
so
to
much.
us.